Even though the internet has a certain reputation for being both simultaneously crazy, messed up, and oddly fascinating, the internet has time and time again proved to be an invaluable source of free and open communication. And I think all these characteristics can be attributed to the fact that net neutrality is in place. It is my contention that net neutrality deters internet service providers, or IPSs, from discriminating between the different types of content found on the internet, and ensures future opportunities for driven economic innovation, democratic participation, and free speech online. In the interest of increasing the likelihood of successfully swaying each and every one of you over to my side, I will state my case in the following manner. I will begin by offering a summarization of the net neutrality issue. Next, I will attempt to highlight the reasons why this issue is important. And finally, I'll offer any viable solutions available. The issue of net neutrality can be bewildering to some, so I'll go ahead and explain what net neutrality is. In an article published by curiousnow.org, a website dedicated to better informing phone, cable, and internet consumers about technology and communication issues, describe the net neutrality issue like this. Network neutrality is a fancy way of saying that networks that deliver the internet should treat all content, sites, and applications equally and shouldn't discriminate against certain traffic based on its source, destination, or message. The basic idea is that the internet should be open so consumers have unrestricted access to lawful websites and online business can compete freely. Telephone and cable companies such as AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast pose a threat to the manner in which we have been accessing internet content since its inception. The issue that these companies have with net neutrality is that due to the fact that different applications consume disproportionate amounts of resources available to the networks. An example would be the difference between the amount of stress accessing a simple news article would cause compared to downloading, say, an HD movie. Internet service providers would now be able to discriminate internet content in any way the company saw fit. Preferential treatment ranging from load access itself to how fast the loading connection is could be given to network traffic these companies are partial to. Not only that, but as an article published in SaveTheInternet.com that is dedicated to saving the internet, stated that they want to tax content providers to guarantee speedy delivery of their data, and they want to discriminate in favor of their own search engines. Internet phone services and streaming video while slowing down or blocking services offered by their competitors. This is particularly alarming because the internet has offered an alternative source for obscure grassroots organizing and information sharing that does not make its way into mainstream cable news networks. In a world in which merely 5 giant corporations control the television news programs in the United States, it's not too difficult to imagine those same companies going so far as to corporatize the internet, excluding any information or content that could potentially harm their economic interests. SaveTheInternet.com is a key site for organizing to stop the imposition of a corporate monopoly on the internet. Join the campaign online and contact Congress so you let them know how you feel. Net neutrality should be an important issue to all of us because as internet users, it is in our best interest to support the unfettered access to the content we all help build. Thank you.
All right, Kenny, what did you think?
I thought it was a pretty good speech, a lot of information in it, but I thought you could use a better opening statement or example for your for your opening speech. You just read from the paper, so you didn't make that much eye contact. And your examples should have been like more in depth, like getting a better, to give like a better explanation of like what you're talking about. And overall, I thought it was like a good speech.
All right. All right. I actually, the phrases and the language that you use in the opening I think is pretty effective, but it does seem a little odd that you have to read it, and then there's a lot of reading in the presentation. You need to talk to the audience more. The nice part is that you read it pretty well. There's a lot of variety in your voice, and you project pretty well, with one exception that I'll mention in just a second. There's a minor issue that bugged me just a little bit. On the content issues, I like the definition that you had with a couple of examples. They're very hypothetical risks that you're talking about. And for instance, what is the chance that this current status of the Internet is going to be changed? Is there a proposed law? Is there some organization that wants to institute new rules? You mentioned the major corporate ISP providers who might want to have regulation or control over these kinds of things. Well, are they being offered this, or are they demanding it from Congress, for instance, or the FCC or some other organization? You need to build that problem up a little bit more. At the end, you're talking about kind of a negative visualization. What would happen, for example, if the 5 major companies had control over all these news sources? And even with your description, I'm not sure that that would mean that they would be able to prohibit certain things on the Internet, but rather that they would get preferential treatment over those kinds of sites that may in fact have a consequence of limiting access to that, but you need to explain it that way. So it's okay. It's pretty reasonably well organized. But I do think that the argument needs to be developed a little bit more, and you need a couple more citations. And the main bugaboo that got me is the pronunciation of neutrality. You've got it's like when people complain about somebody saying nuclear, and they stick that extra ooh sound in the middle. Neutrality, you've got an E sound that you're sticking in the middle.
How?
Neutrality, I think, is kind of the way you say it. And it's neutrality. So it's just you've got this extra sound that you're sticking in the middle that doesn't really belong there. And that just set me off a couple of times. All right. Thank you.